All right, welcome on everyone to a Game 7 with some pretty big stakes here for the Cavaliers franchise in particular. Looks like Jared Allen is not going to play. Let me just make sure we're all good here on the audio. Think we are.
And we're live everywhere after.
Let's see. It's always that was a problem for us last time. Audio a bit choppy for me, huh?
It usually squares up after like a minute or two. I don't know why that is.
All right. Well, if it still sucks, let me know.
I will. It already seems like it's smoothing out a little bit.
All right.
So no Jared Allen. Unfortunately, it looks like Isaac Okoro is going to start in his stead. They went to Okoro in Game 5, Marcus Morris in Game 6, who was not fantastic in that one, and then now they're back to Okoro. And he ties in with one of the key stories for me in the game, which is Cleveland, Kobe Altman added a lot of shooting this offseason. Niang, Strus most significantly. Can those guys actually make those shots? Because that will be a huge swing factor here.
Yeah, and Gary Harris is going to be back. He was actually questionable. I didn't buy it for Game 6 because he had to leave Game 5 with that hamstring. He is back. Let's see how he's looking. But he does add an important element because I think moving Jonathan Isaac into the starting lineup has not really worked for Orlando. They've kind of been missing in their starting group that other guard who can space the floor and defend. Darius Garland completely lit them up through the first three quarters of Game 6. And, of course, Donovan Mitchell did as well. Basically, anyone other than Suggs, the Cavs guards were able to just completely blow by. And then Harris also provides more spacing than Isaac on the other end. They did end up closing it with Cole Anthony. If Harris is limited, I think they really need to get something out of Cole Anthony tonight.
The other benefit of moving Isaac out of the starting lineup is that it gives the Orlando Magic their second unit. The Isaac Wagner combo, Mo Wagner, has been so important throughout the season for them. And so to get that back, we've seen some of the lineups without those guys not quite right. And so that'll be a key thing to watch. I mean, Paolo Banchero's contested mid-rangers. They've been a huge part of this series, whether those go in or those go out. And then Franz Wagner. I mean, we saw Evan Mobley block him the last time these two teams played in Cleveland. Those drives are going to be important in this game.
The other thing that's going to be massive, particularly with Jared Allen out, is the rebounding battle because they're starting Isaac Okoro at the 4. They really just don't have any bigs that they feel comfortable with other than Mobley, who just wins the tip right now. And another thing for Cleveland is where can they get offense, not even necessarily scoring, but just running plays for someone other than Mitchell or Garland. And there's Harris getting through that initial screen. They come right back to him, switching Franz onto Garland. Garland, shifty, around Franz, but he rushed it, and now Magic have transition. Garland went way into the cameras. Here's Carter in the corner. Harris's first shot for 3 just rims out, but you saw the value of Harris there. At least he's able to take that shot quickly.
And he's moving pretty well. I'm surprised by how well Gary Harris has responded physically.
And there's Mobley missing another scoop shot. Mobley sprained his ankle, was kind of moving on one leg the rest of the game. There they go to the side pick and roll. Banchero gets to his spot, and as you noted, he's had the mid-ranger working in this series.
11:03-1 for YouTubers.
Here's Mitchell on the blow-by past Franz Wagner. They've gone at Franz Wagner twice now in pick and roll and gotten to the basket both times. What did you make of Jamal Mosley's statements after Game 6 of, well, we were kind of trusting our process. We didn't overreact to Mitchell and everyone getting into the paint. They didn't actually score that well throughout the course of the game as a team.
They didn't score that well throughout the game. Oof, bad miss by Franz Wagner there. But when a team is relying so heavily on one player, I think you can change your strategy to devote more resources there, especially when the other guys aren't actually, making their shots.
They're going after Franz again. Mitchell on the crossover, got separation and left it short. That was a better contest from Wagner that time. They're trying to get a screen on Paolo's man initially. Pick and pop. Suggs picking up where he left off. 6 of 13 from 3 in Game 6.
And I like Banchero pushing it a little harder there as a grab-and-go guy. It's been a frustration how slow the Magic have been in transition this series.
Garland went to the alley-oop. Mobley crashing in to Carter for his first bucket.
Good to see a little assertiveness there from Evan Mobley. His offensive role has never quite reached the heights of Game 1 since.
Okoro trying to pressure Banchero. Banchero looking to get to a spot. Kicks it out. Carter will try Mobley here. Not a good shot. Just a terrible
You have
decision.
to pass out of that if that's all you're getting to.
Yeah. Once he gets closed down, just drive and make the next pass. Suggs trying to stay with Mitchell. Oh, he almost fouled him from behind, and then Banchero does foul him on the rebound. Mitchell, I love that acceleration as soon as he comes off the pick. If you just have that defender getting in front of him, we've seen it in these playoffs, that's not really enough. If he's still there on your back, he can bother you. Once you get that acceleration, get that separation off of your back as the ball handler, now the guy is either going to crash into your back later trying to catch up, or you're going to have a free run.
Donovan Mitchell had a preposterous scoring game inside the paint. It was not the three-point shooting that led to his 50-point outburst. And also one of the fun curiosities of that game, only the 6th time, I believe, in NBA playoff history that a player scored 50 points when his team was under 100. The others who did it, Michael Jordan 3 times, Allen Iverson twice.
Mitchell was only 3 of 6 from the line on Friday night. Suggs bringing it up against Mitchell. Back screen by Banchero. Good denial by Okoro. They kind of ran that back screen just to run it. They didn't run it with real purpose to actually get Banchero open. Now Wagner's first attack. He tries Mobley, and that's a beautiful floater. Right hand, right foot, and he's on the board.
And Wagner moved his right hand a little bit there to get a better angle, and there's a nice move by Darius Garland, getting downhill, finishing with his left.
Yeah, and I thought he did get pushed by Suggs. Here's Suggs going right back, but Mobley stops him at the rim. Evan Mobley has made a couple of plays. He's going to really need to take all the minutes he can possibly handle tonight.
Darius Garland's doing a little lobbying for the official. Jalen Suggs used his off arm there, but they didn't call it.
There we go. That's a real back screen, but Mobley shuts it down. Harris on the cut. He's stopped by Mobley as well. Strus in transition. He could pull up here. He crosses over. Okoro. Oh, he is destroyed by Paolo Banchero. And Isaac Okoro, his confidence in his offensive game is waning for a 3rd straight postseason. You could tell he did not want to go up on the strong side. He kind of overthought it. But he does force Banchero into a tough fadeaway. Mitchell against Wagner. He's confident against it. That's surely a blocking foul, and it is.
Yeah, not in the path, not in legal guarding position, and so that will be a foul on Franz Wagner. No one in difficulty yet, one on Wagner, one on Banchero, but those are the 2 guys you don't want fouls on as the Magic.
Yeah, I will say, even though he got blocked there, that Gary Harris does look decent physically. We'll see if he's on a minutes limit or what the story is. So Mitchell, 2nd trip to the line already. That was a storyline, of course, after Game 6 as well, with J.B. Bickerstaff noting the number of shot attempts in the paint versus the free throws that the Cavs got.
Apologies, I'm in the process of pulling up all the shot charts and stats and everything because most of the stuff doesn't populate until the game begins.
Yeah, so I didn't find that particularly compelling. It was kind of a lot of floaters. Darius Garland in particular is not someone who seeks out a lot of contact.
Yes.
I think as you see Dean Wade there too, in addition to Jarrett Allen, that's been another, to me, under-discussed story, is just that he hasn't been available like the Cavs have been at their best, I would say, as Carter sets an illegal screen and doesn't get called for it. Franz into Mobley. Mobley with another huge stop. He's got 4 or 5 of those, but it goes out to Banchero for his 3-pointer, the offensive glass. The Cavs are just going to have to do a better job of getting back into position on those Mobley stops. Here's Mitchell looking up top to Mobley. Double teamed. That's the right pass. Okoro will take it. Surely he saw on film some of those embarrassing record scratches. He took that one, but it wasn't close. Now they've got Mobley on the perimeter. They look inside to Carter. Double team. Oh, and Mitchell diagnosed that. That was a bad pass by Suggs, so it needed to have more steam on it.
And even if it had more steam, probably wouldn't have been great. Pull up three from Donovan Mitchell? No, not quite there. And going back to the rebounding, one adjustment that the Cavs have to make is usually they play so big, but the guards they need to do more now because they're not big anymore.
They set the screen with Franz, double team. They kick it. Oh, that was a bad decision. He had Carter wide open in the corner. Suggs' passing has been wanting a little bit here early. They're going to screen away for Strus, but just that not, and they're going to get, I guess, a travel there.
Yeah, it was a
but,
travel. I mean, on the spin move.
Just not a ton of crispness, not a ton of alacrity to that action. No V cut by Strus. Screens a little late. Like they didn't run it like they really meant to get a shot.
This is Marcus Morris Sr. coming in for Isaac Okoro. Morris was a hero in Game 5 and then less than a hero in Game 6.
Yeah, again, the Magic not exactly a ton either in terms of their crispness. Here's Suggs getting off the ball. That was the right pass. Banchero is open. He's got 2 of those wing 3-pointers. He's up to 8 points early. And the one most encouraging thing I would say for the long term has been some of Banchero's shot making from the outside in this series for the Magic. Strus finding Mobley at the elbow. They run a little split cut action. Terrace takes it away from Garland. Gary Harris looking good early. They throw it ahead. Franz, he's got Suggs in the corner. And we're still live here as Carter steps into a 3. And the Magic hitting threes left and right. They have been so broke in this building. 9-0 run, and they lead it by 6 early.
The 3-point shooting, and these are all set shots kind of right at above the break with guys having their feet set, and those are easier to hit. They're not doing movement things and everything like that. And it's wild that they got a shot that good out of a possession where Wagner actually kind of stole that ball from Jalen Suggs. I think the intention was Suggs in the corner would have had an open shot, but they end up getting Wendell Carter above the break for a 3.
Going to just take a few notes here for the pod since we're not recording till later.
Do you think that Garland and Mobley in their prime could be the best 2 players on a contending team, or are they more like the 2-3? More like the 2-3 to me. That has been the kind of the criticism of Donovan Mitchell over the years. Now, he has gotten to like All-NBA third team, but All-NBA third team. And remember that All-NBA is not roughly a proxy for best player on a contending team. They are, since one is a regular season measure and one is a little bit different. But to me, first of all, the defensive limitations of each of those guys, even if Mitchell's gotten better, but also they're not like undeniable. Like, this player is going to be a dominant offensive player, even against the best of the best. So that is a challenge. But the other practical consideration, and I broadly supported, even though I thought they gave up too much, the concept of the Cavs trading for Mitchell is that the best players on a contending team almost never change teams, and you almost get and getting them via trade is even harder. The way that you get them via trade is often you diagnose it earlier, or you're one of the teams that player is interested. Cleveland has done it, but that's LeBron James coming back, and that's of course a different situation. Is Franz a no-brainer 25% max guy, or does there need to be negotiation there? So I'm lower on Wagner, kind of his place on a really good team than most are. I would say there should be some negotiation, as long as it's, there's a read there in terms of the team fabric that's important, because the concessions on that are probably not going to be big. Of course, you don't give him a player option. We've largely moved away from that after the Tatum and Mitchell ones. But the questions about how Wagner fits in, the 3-point shooting this year, he is a good team defender. I think that he's already obviously a part of a successful team defense. But where he fits in offensively, because if you scale back his role, scale back the driving a little bit, well, then he's going to have to be able to shoot. And that isn't a reliable positive for Wagner at this point. It's not even a reliable neutral for him at this point.
So here's what I would say on the Franz. The shooting is a problem. I think he's going to need to rework his form. I talked about that on Friday night's pod to really become the threat that we want him to be. He is only a $21 million cap hold for the offseason of 2025. I would not just offer him that extension on day one of 2024 free agency, because I want to see how this year's free agency goes, first of all, right? If
Right.
they kind of use up all of their space on long-term deals this offseason and they don't really have much use for flexibility in the summer of 2025, then I feel much better about giving him an extension, whatever it is. I think though, because his cap hold's only 21 million, you might want to use some of that space in the summer of 2025, and that's a reason to say, hey, you know what? We're only going to actually extend you if we get our deal, and that's actually pretty decent. Like if you compare him to say like Desmond Bain, right? The other thing about 2025 is we know there's going to be a 10% cap increase as Strus misses that corner three. That was a good play, though, at least to get him open. Morris is in for Okoro. Here's Banchero blowing by Mitchell. Tried to dunk on Mobley, and Mobley can't believe that call. I didn't see a ton there. Maybe he gets him with the forearm down low.
I thought it was the off arm. If I saw something, it was that.
Yeah. Take a look at it here. Yeah, I don't see a ton there. I mean, the arms come down, but part of that is just due to contact. I think the only contact seemed to be from Banchero's off arm to Mobley.
Yeah, that I don't like that call.
Well, and particularly when Mobley is there, right? Like he's in pretty good position. It's not a great decision by Paolo to me, but more importantly, they got him matched up against Mitchell and were able to blow by him. And they're doing a couple of interesting things here. They're going after Mitchell and Garland more in transition situations. I wanted them to do that at the end of Game 5. They didn't really. And then last game, they did it a ton, but it was really more kind of up top where there wasn't that much space. Now they're doing it on the side where there isn't so much help available, and I think that's working better. Now Garland will try. Banchero stayed with him nicely. Backs it out. He'll try again. Banchero's still on him. He has to double pump it. And great box out there by Carter against Mobley. Now they can push it. Mobley's behind the play. Suggs has Banchero. Well, he's not going to take that one, but he's got Garland on him. He waves the defense away. Mobley is still there on the strong side, though. Banchero backs down. Looks for the pass. Franz probably had the cut. Instead, he gets it out top. He's stopped by Mitchell and has to throw up a wild shot. Good defense by Mitchell. Here's Garland getting separation. No, Suggs bothered him from behind. Garland throws it away. 3-on-2 for the Magic. Here's Paolo coming in, and he's fouled on the pass-off.
It looked like Banchero could have gotten that to Harris earlier, maybe gotten a layup, but instead he gets fouled, and foul's not the worst thing in the world. This looks like Karis LeVert coming in for Garland, so this will be the Mitchell-only minutes, and then Markelle Fultz coming in for Gary Harris, who I would say this is a very successful first stint for him relative to what I expected, considering his hamstring issue.
Agreed. Who do the Celtics want to see? I think the Cavs.
You think they'd rather play the Cavs?
I think so, just because
I'd rather play the Magic.
I mean, maybe like Dean Wade's not going to play. Allen is probably going to be limited in the series. Here's Banchero. Back out to Suggs. They still got plenty of time here. Suggs, pick and roll, going right. Missed it. Carter tips it out. Fultz. No, Mitchell has it. No, and it's back to Suggs in the backcourt. And what do we have here? A shot clock issue?
I think they reset it to 24 when it probably should have gone to 14.
Yeah. Now that took away a little advantage from the Magic. They had Mobley guarding on the outside. But yeah, look at this play by Suggs. And that's one where Garland has Suggs behind him. Jalen Brunson would use his body there to either force him to foul or get some separation. Here's Suggs on the pick. Up top to Carter. Beautiful action there. And the Magic getting into those screening actions with their guards much faster than they did and not letting the defense load up as well. This is pretty good coaching here to improve the process on those plays. Mobley on the fadeaway. Not great offense there for the Cavs.
And Mobley being more successful on those plays would be huge for him, but it's been, big versus big creation hasn't been a strength for him all year.
So they still have Mobley on Banchero. Banchero's going to just go right at him, and he lost it. Don't love that process there. They went pick and roll at Marcus Morris once using Carter as the screen. I think they should do that more as Wagner staying in front of Mitchell, where he was beaten so many times by those Cavs guards in Game 6, stayed with him beautifully this time. Mitchell tries to push off, but Wagner at 6'10", able to still get a hand in.
And that's a turnabout from the one where Mitchell stopped Wagner about a minute ago.
Looks like this is some zone here for the Cavs with Fultz in the game. Banchero open at the elbow, old school zone offense. Cleveland has only 10 points as LeVert, who did not play in the second half of the last game, is in. They need something from him. Carter switching on to him. Strus on the move. Now Mitchell fires over Fultz. That's off. And Mobley has it in the corner. I'd say LeVert, he's got to move it quickly to the weak side there. Instead, he's going to try Fultz and blows by him. Not good enough defense there by Fultz.
And also not good enough defense from Paolo Banchero, who should have responded to the drive.
Oh, another quick guard screen. Shoot the ball, Fultz, but instead it's Wagner. He shoots it into the bottom of the rim. He thought he got fouled. I didn't see much there.
No one touched him.
Generally, when guys react like that, there's something. Now Strus on the blow by. Oh, and he should have shot that. Good defense by Carter to rope-a-dope him on the 2-on-1. Carter is exhausted right now. Here's Suggs. He's not exhausted. That was a foul on Mitchell. They didn't call it. Banchero blowing by Strus. Gets to his spot, but he couldn't really rise up going to his right.
The movement jump shots from Banchero haven't looked as good so far in Game 7, but the set shot ones have looked good.
Neither team can hit a shot here early. Fultz, I mentioned his defense. He's really disappointed. You see how he's kind of just bent over at the waist there? He's not really getting his butt low in his stance, but he does get that steal on the veer back. Now he'll attack. He's going to go right in here, and he just blew the layup. Wow, that was not even close. Here's Strus pulling up. This is ragged as hell right now. Everyone exhausted. I think we still haven't gotten the under 3 timeout, have we? And
no,
I think
here
JD is going to call it. Yeah.
I kept on wanting to do a timestamp, but nobody scored a basket.
Yeah, oof. And some of these shooting numbers are absolutely brutal right now. The Magic are 7 of 21, but 4 of 8 from 3. That leaves them a mere 3 of 13 from 2. And Cleveland can't score from anywhere. They're 4 of 17. Have gotten to the foul line for 4 of 4.
The Cleveland Cavaliers have 12 points on 20 possessions so far. For those scoring at home, that is a 60 offensive rating, 50 first shot half court offensive rating for them.
Yeah, going back to who the Celtics should want to face, I think it's just the Magic are more athletic, more physical. The Magic have actually, I think, had a little bit more success against the Celtics in the regular season the last couple of years than the Cavs have.
Another part of that argument is that when you consider, especially that Porzingis is out presumably for this series, that guard defense is a real strength for the Celtics. They still have Holiday, they still have Derek White, and that is such a central part of like how Cleveland generates shots. Whereas they have plenty of forwards. The Celtics can defend everybody, but they're a little bit thinner there in terms of like having Jalen and having Jason Tatum defend Banchero and Wagner. So, yeah, there are reasonable arguments either way. Let's see. Do you think that there are any past present players in the league who have such poor scalability that it's impossible to win a championship with them? I mean, if they're good enough to play, they're good enough to play on a team like that. There are some specific weaknesses, but I don't think of that as really scalability. Now, if a guy can't shoot and they can't defend, then you probably can't win a championship with them, but they're not going to play anyway. Like that's sort of a situation. But if they have sufficient strengths to be on the floor, I think there are ways to make it work. And then there are certain guys who are better 82 game players than 16 game players. And it's usually by Nate articulated this really well, like 5 years ago, about the severity of your weaknesses that are rather than the severity of your strengths. But like the idea that ostensibly really good player X is not a good playoff player, like that, I think that's overstating things. You might need to reduce their role. You might need to shift it, but that's not the same thing.
Do you favor the Wolves or the Celtics in a finals if the Wolves continue their current level of play. I mean, if the Wolves beat Denver and then also beat OKC, I mean that you're going to be feeling pretty goddamn good about them. Now, if Boston has Porzingis healthy, I think it would be an absolute hell of a series. I do think that Boston matches up pretty well with the Wolves defense because of the shooting that they can bring to bear and also just the huge number of guys that they could throw at Anthony Edwards. So I think, you might say the Wolves have the athleticism advantage, but man, I mean that Boston team has a lot of talent. But you could also make the argument that Anthony Edwards is would be the best player in that series. Surely he'll be playing at that level if they do make it to the finals.
I'm trying to imagine how excited I would be about the Wolves at that point. I mean, they were fantastic in game one, but they still have a gauntlet. And even if they make it through this series, they still have a really tough one, presumably with OKC, potentially with Dallas.
Yeah, so Paolo, you could see how he blew a tire on his jumper. Carter Jr. was absolutely exhausted, and now Cavs getting back to this zone defense. And here is Sam Merrill for Cleveland. Here's Wagner firing his three. You can see kind of that hitchy jumper. Now it's a 2-on-1. LeVert accelerates, and a foul is given in favor of LeVert against Wagner.
And that is Wagner's second foul. We picked up that one earlier, and so he's the first guy with two. There aren't even that many with one. Banchero, Mitchell, Mobley.
Yeah, I'd like to get another look at this one. Is both teams getting into their benches here early. And this is an interesting adjustment by JB to go to the zone with Fultz on the floor. I like it. As LeVert, though, misses that free throw. Cavs were only 5 of 10 from the line in Game 6, with Mitchell the chief culprit. Mobley getting a rest here as well.
You can see, I mean, that long run without a stoppage is going to linger for some of these players. Just, it takes a lot out of you. And now it's Orlando bringing the ball up the floor, 130, 129, 128 remaining.
Fultz up top against the zone again. They set a quick screen by Isaac. Fultz getting to a spot, able to rise up over Tristan Thompson. That jumper looked pretty good for Fultz. He's been reluctant even at times to take that mid-ranger. Now Isaac has the matchup on LeVert. Changing sides of the floor. Good denial by Fultz on Mitchell. Mitchell gets physical to get the ball into the lane. Kicks out. LeVert not looking to shoot it. Drives into traffic. Now they're late clock. Hit him one-on-one against Mitchell. Not an advantage. Gets past him. Or sorry, not against Mitchell. Against Isaac. And LeVert with a great finish. He's had a couple of forays to the basket trying to make up for what was a brutal Game 6 that had him on the bench in the second half.
Isaac did some really nice things defensively on that possession, including some screen navigation, but then, goes through LeVert's body there, and great strength by Caris LeVert to take that hit, control the ball with just his left hand, and get the N1.
Yeah, I think Mitchell got, or why do I keep calling Isaac Mitchell? Isaac got him in the head. Fultz at the elbow.
Overplay by Mitchell.
Oh, yeah, that was a terrible decision.
It's Markelle Fultz. You could just defend him straight up. You don't need to try to get that steal. And they gave up a layup when they would have had a good possession.
Oh, Mitchell splitting the pick and roll. Another change of direction. And it curls out. Thompson fighting on the glass among three Magic. Here's Mitchell. Goes in to try to dunk it on Isaac and finishes a layup instead. Everyone's down. It'll be 4-on-4 coming back the other way. They got to go here. Now they're going to hold it for one. Excuse me. And you see Suggs, he's pointing to go at Sam Merrill with Franz. Merrill trying to make a catch tough. Fultz is going to back in on him. Help coming from Thompson. Fultz shoots over him. And I think they could have. Why didn't they just give Franz the ball there? Here's Mitchell from half court. Ooh. And that'll do it for a 24-18 first quarter. Donovan Mitchell looks like he's going to head to the back immediately. After playing all 12 minutes here, he's 2 of 9 from the field, is 4 of 4 for the line, 8 points, 0 assists.
I would say that the quality shot advantage so far goes to the Orlando Magic, which is pretty wild when you consider that their shot chart is red everywhere in the paint, but they've just been getting better looks. And it's really those above the break set shot threes that they got from Banchero. He got 2, and then Wendell Carter got that 1. That is really the efficiency base so far for the Orlando offense. Cleveland, those 7 free throws, I think that's a significant part of the early going. They had, I believe, 7 free throw attempts, something like that, in game 6, but they have been aggressive. They've been getting around the basket, LeVert getting that and one and getting fouled another time. So I think that for me, the run of play has gone to Orlando so far, and that's reflected in the margin, but it's not so dramatic that it's a massive advantage for them.
Well, the biggest thing that stood out to me on the Magic's offensive end is the play of Evan Mobley. Magic are 2 of 7 at the rim, a further 1 of 3 upper paint. So they really have not been able to get anything going from 2-point range. That 4 of 8 3-point shooting has stayed them. Cavs have not made a 3. They're 0 for 7, and the Cavs are also 5 of 11 at the rim themselves.
4 of those 7 threes for the Cavs are also by Mitchell and Garland. And I mean, Strus, you could say those are the players that they want taking those shots. It hasn't been the Isaac Okoro missing show or anything like that. It's been the guys that they want, but the frequency, and obviously the success is not what you're looking for.
I'm interested to see who's going to be in here now. We didn't see Cole Anthony at all. That's another thing that's kind of interesting to me. Like, why would they play Fultz over Anthony?
I don't love it. I mean, I'm guessing it's a Jamal Mosley trust thing that Jamal Mosley believes the Fultz can execute. But I mean,
Anthony he closed the last game, right? Like,
I know.
That's what I didn't really get.
Has this series changed your thoughts on how Orlando can turn it into a contender? No, it has fortified my exact same thoughts as before, which is that they need a best offensive player, someone who can give them organization. Ideally, that player can function on and off the ball, because then that allows you to get the ecosystem right with Banchero and Wagner and Suggs, who's becoming more assertive. But that player being able to generate some pace, that player being able to generate some shooting. And I think the only thing it's clarified for me is I'm less confident that player should be an off-ball shooter like Clay than that it should be more of an on-ball guy. And was there just did the broadcast just get something weird happen? Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it just had like a pause for like 5 seconds. But I think we're okay now.
Okay, all good. Oh, maybe did they add in a delay or something? Yeah, whatever, we're fine.
Possibly, yeah. Or they might have just changed feeds. They probably changed feeds. It was like slightly laggy. So Fultz is in now. They are going to Ingles. This is the 5-man bench group that has actually been pretty decent at the start of second quarters. Merrill trying to get through the screen on Ingles. Wagner going behind the back, but he's rejected by Tristan Thompson. He thought it was a goaltend, not even close. Here's Merrill on the push. Isaac tries to pick him up. Thompson on the roll. He's going to go right in, and a foul on Wagner. That's the right call. Wagner gave him the two-handed shove.
And you're not that's one of the things that they look for in a limitation, and giving a good defensive foul on a driving Tristan Thompson, probably not. Oh, did that hit the glass first?
No, I don't think so. I thought it was a great block.
I'm not getting a second look at it.
Garland is back in. He sat for a while at the end of the quarter, and we're going to get a hold here on Ingles as his old teammate Niang was looking to set a screen.
Early fouls to start the second. That could loom large for Orlando later on.
Why not stagger Franz and Banchero? Well, I mean, Joe Ingles is so good, you guys. He's got to be out there. I think that bench unit has been very good for them, as Garland can't get that shot. That was a good look, though. Anthony, with his first attack here, tries to go in between two Cavs, and that'll be a difficult inbound in the corner with 16 to shoot. Yeah, these are two very benchy units for a game 7. I'm not sure we'll see this in the second half. If it gets there, it's close. Here's Anthony up top. Wagner will shoot it and hit. 5th three-pointer of the game for the Magic.
And I was surprised that Anthony didn't attack right away. He had Garland behind him, but they created an open 3.
Now Garland getting it off. Not even close. Cavs still have not hit a three-pointer. Ingles pushing it up, guarded by Niang. Ingles, they've been doing a good job of preventing him from getting to his left hand, but Niang will pick up the foul against Wagner underneath.
Who is less athletic, Niang or Ingles? Ingles.
At this point, certainly. Yeah, there was a time actually Joe was reasonably athletic. He guarded Chris Paul as the primary defender for a playoff series back in 2017, but particularly once he tore the ACL. So Fultz is going to sit down, and they bring Banchero back in almost immediately. Isaac, here's Mo Wagner, goes that behind the back again. Thompson was all over it. Now he wants Anthony to come through, and then Wagner throws it away. Not good.
Wagner called Cole Anthony to come towards him, then dribbled away from him and passed the ball to Banchero, who wasn't even looking or cutting that direction.
LeVert going to try to attack the basket again. Pulling up, got to his spot, very aggressive, but missed it.
And you could see how the Magic collapsed to that defensive rebound. Really good work by them.
Banchero, oh, what a Euro in transition. Goes right around Niang. But the play to me was made actually by Isaac slipping out of there, forcing the defender, the help defender, to retreat. Garland, good job by Anthony getting through that screen, but then he fails to communicate. Niang gets into the lane and missed the Euro step, tipped around, and will go the other way. That's one they got to make.
This has been disturbing offense so far for the Cleveland Cavaliers in this first part. You know, it's been against an all bench unit, though it is a good defensive bench unit. The Cavs have not scored yet in the second quarter.
Yeah, I liked coming back with Banchero for Fultz here. This is actually a pretty good shooting group now around Banchero. Banchero on the roll. LeVert tries to come over. Banchero tries Mobley. Mobley stopped, but I thought that could have been a foul. Banchero fights up with the left hand. And JB needs timeout. This is a 13-point deficit.
And not only a 13-point deficit, but a 7-0 run for the Magic to start the second quarter. And it's been, other than Banchero coming in late, an all-bench unit for the Magic that has done this damage.
Yeah, and presumably we're going to see Donovan Mitchell return to this game after only a 2-minute rest now. I haven't thought that their shots have been terrible during this period. And Mitchell is trying to touch her. Like, you know, that LeVert free throw line jumper was okay. Niang got pretty close to a layup. Who else took a shot? Was it Garland who took a shot during that period too?
I think Garland had 2. Yeah. What's the best win-win-win trade to send Mitchell out in? That's too big a question to answer right now, because so I've brought up the idea before. Nate and I have discussed this a little bit in passing, that the Cavs could use a theoretical, not saying it's going to happen, a theoretical Mitchell trade to also rearrange their front court, because the idea basically being that if you narrow it to we're trading Donovan Mitchell and we need to get something similar back for him, because you're trying to stay competitive, that's really hard. Maybe what you end up getting back is a 3-4, and then that necessitates making a choice on Allen versus Mobley. And then so you do those things at one time. So you end up kind of strangers on a train style, solving one problem with a different one, and then you kind of create it. I don't think those trades would necessarily happen together, but that opens up more possibilities. And it's so hard. This came up at various different moments over the last few years to trade a good player when your intention is to stay competitive. And you could theoretically do so and like get picks and then swap those picks for something else. You know, you do those through different transactions, but it's really, really hard to pull off. Mitchell for Hero, Hawkes, Jovic, and picks. No, that's not, like, Miami doesn't have enough picks to make that worth it for me. And that's exactly why I think Miami could end up in a very similar situation to what they were in with Damian Lillard, which is that I don't know that Mitchell wants to go there. It was a little bit more overt in Lillard's case, but player X wants to go to that team, but you still have to have a competitive offer. The Cavs if Mitchell wants to be traded, are under zero obligation to trade Mitchell where he wants to go. All Mitchell could really do is, through various different means, convince other teams that he's not willing to sign there, and then weaken their offers so that Miami's offer is comparatively more competitive.
I don't think they're going to be like such amazing offers for Mitchell with 1 year left on his deal for that very reason. And the only team that's going to give up a lot for him is a place where he's willing to commit to re-sign.
But do you think that Jovic, Jaquez picks package would be enough for you?
I mean, it might be the best they can do, honestly. I mean, so you're saying you just take it into the season if that's the offer?
Yes, if that's the offer.
I probably would. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be...
Because that offer's still going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, it is just easier to make a trade during the offseason.
Well, and especially with the salary floor rules now, it is a lot easier to make a trade in the offseason. But there'll still be places where... I'm sure it's been brought up before. Mitchell's fit on the Magic. Yeah, absolutely. That is a circumstance that could work. And you not only have Suggs as the lead defending guard, Mitchell on the Magic absolutely works.
So Mitchell is back in. Niang gets it to Mobley. Good denial by Anthony. So they get the back door, but Anthony just blocks him from behind. What a play by the former dunk contest participant. Now he'll set the screen. Doesn't make contact, though. They'll try again here. Anthony waves away Isaac. Instead, he's going to get into the lane and floats it up. He had Banchero open, so you better make that one, but he did, and it's a 15-point Magic lead. Screen away for Mitchell. He says, no, go screen for Garland first, then I'll get involved. Garland will try again. Banchero comes over to help. Another turnover by Garland, but that's not good enough by Mo Wagner. He's laughing about it, but it's right in front of the official. Yeah, watch this block by Cole Anthony. He takes off a 1 foot. I think Garland thought he was nowhere near the play. And then he's able to finish as well. Strus is in as well. They've gone back to their starting group, except with LeVert for Okoro, who struggled offensively. Oh, they get it into Strus, but he won't go up against Isaac. Now LeVert, good help by Wagner. Mitchell around Wagner. Another missed layup by the Cavs. 3-on-2. Anthony going right into LeVert. Good job by the Cavs getting back. Wagner will run pick and roll with Suggs here. They try to keep him on the side. Suggs gets out of it. And I guess we're going to get a hold on Garland. It didn't seem like there was much there, honestly.
I didn't see much there. Second team foul on the Cavaliers so far in the second quarter.
Yeah, this Magic bench unit is smoking him again. Ooh, Paolo's shoe fell off. He goes down. Mitchell in transition. Up to Mobley for the dunk. That was a key play. Paolo's going to have to get his shoe back on. He does. That's never happened to me. I guess I don't generate that level of force, but also maybe tie your shoe a little better. Franz is headed back to the table now. Good pressure by Garland, but Anthony gets past him, and Mobley, who's been fantastic defensively, knocks it away. Looks like we have another foul. Is that Garland again?
Yes, it is another foul on Garland, so that is his second.
Yeah, 2 in a row on Cole Anthony dribbles, as Carter is going to return now for Mo Wagner, who, while he was on the court for some nice moments, didn't particularly do much himself.
It's the benefit of playing center with Jonathan Isaac as your 4.
Backstring coming here for Suggs. They'll go to the other side instead. Pick and roll at Mobley. So Anthony should try to get off the ball here. Instead, he's going to take a difficult shot and make it.
I would have
had to back off.
I would have liked Carter to have gone actually back out, but Mobley didn't really help there. He was a little too far away, and that's a foul on Cole Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony just wasn't, after hitting the shot, just wasn't really in a stance there.
So watch Mobley here. He's trying to be two places at once, but Anthony knows that Mobley's not going to block a shot, and so he just takes it.
Yeah, that was a difficult one. Hopefully he's not going to shoot himself out of this little mini hot streak. LeVert against Banchero gets the screen from Mobley. They'll just switch that. Carter guarding LeVert. LeVert trying to attack him, not anything doing. Tries to throw it to Mobley. Late clock. Mobley going to force it up. No, LeVert eluding Carter briefly. They still can't get a three. Suggs can push it, but the Cavs are back. Mobley is there. Weak side Franz, guarded by LeVert. They've got Banchero guarded by Strus. They want to go at that. Backing in. Mobley is lurking, and Banchero goes through the arms of Strus. That's going to be a technical on Paolo for sure.
But that is the fourth, I believe, the fourth team foul on Cleveland, so Orlando should be shooting the rest of the way.
Let's see it here. Yeah, I think what Paolo took exception to was Strus not only fouling him, but then pulling the arm down, which is actually very dangerous for somebody's shoulder.
The Cleveland Cavaliers still have not made a three in this game. They are 0 for 9 and only 22% overall from the field. They're 7 of 22 on twos, which also isn't great.
Yeah, Merrill's going to return to see if he can fix that problem from the outside. And I was wrong, obviously. They did not give Paolo a technical. Kind of like that, but the pattern we've seen has been that. Has a coach ever been fired before Game 7 ended?
I mean, earlier in the season, sure.
Yeah,
but based on
within the game,
based on a sluggish start, probably not.
I mean, we could get one of these like Frank Vogel in Denver situations. Looking to work Merrill off the ball here. So they're going Merrill and Strus. They're so desperate for shooting now. Okoro fights it up over Carter. Yeah, they should push it up a little harder here with Okoro going down. And Franz, who has had a couple of flubs here with his ball handling. Okoro's back in to try to bother Banchero. Franz against Strus. Now kicks it to the corner. And I guess we're going to get a hold in the screening action as Banchero tried to roll out of there.
So thank you to Robbie. Nate, speaking of technical fouls that were on the borderline, Anthony Edwards getting rescinded. And thank goodness. I mean, it shouldn't have been called in the first place, but that was preposterous.
Yeah, you see the grab of the jersey there by Strus trying to get around the screen, and then also as Banchero tries to roll away. And Orlando now in the bonus already, and that's only going to slow things down. And the Cavs have a single transition point? I guess they had when Paolo's shoe fell off. That's the
yes,
only
they
one
got
I
an
can think
alley-oop.
of.
They got an alley-oop there. They had three in the first quarter, but it is logged as that they didn't make any shots. So it was probably a foul that occurred in transition.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, if you're a Cavs fan, guessing we don't have too many of those in here, but the Suns only scored 27 points in the first half of their Game 7 loss to Dallas. So,
and things went great for them after that.
They finally get a three from Merrill and finally get on the board with a three off that wide bin dot. Just getting someone sprinting somewhere on offense. Sorry, I interrupted you there. What were you saying?
No, don't worry about it.
Kick out Carter above the break three. Right back Wendell Carter, and the Magic finding their shooting stroke above the break with these bigs has been massive. Mitchell has done very little so far, and Suggs will pick up the cheapie out top. They've been consistent with that call at least.
They have been, and that's the fourth team foul in Orlando. So now Cleveland is shooting the rest of the quarter. God, yeah, I remember seeing probably a 17-year-old Wendell Carter Jr. shooting threes at a camp. I think that was the Adidas Nations, and it was like, yeah, let's see if that comes around. He did that. Jared Allen did it at the Hoop Summit, and that never came around.
Now they put Harris back in, and we're going to get an illegal screen on Strus. Was that 3 on Strus or 2?
That should be 3. Let me check my notes. Yes, that's 3. And so he is coming out.
Garland back in the game. They tried to go with more off-ball shooting here, and yeah, so they put Harris back in, and that's maybe it's on Merrill for going a little too early. But if you're Strus, you got to get out of the way. Pick and pop. They rotate to Banchero on the stunt. He shoots the 3, and Mobley good rebound. Cavs desperately have to get something here these last 6 minutes of the quarter. Mitchell into Wagner, and he'll go to the line. They've missed a few of those contested layups on the right side, but Mitchell will get his 5th and 6th free throw attempts of the evening. Or, I guess, is it evening on the East Coast? Close enough.
It's evening in our hearts. Mitchell 2 for 10 from the field, and that ridiculous finishing around the basket in game 6 has not necessarily persisted. I think that the Magic defense, they've had a much better presence overall, and the quality of shots is, I mean, his shot making was pretty ridiculous inside the paint in game 6.
Yeah, and Franz has not been particularly good so far, I would say, but they're going to bring Isaac back in. That will reduce the spacing, moving Paolo to the 3, but they also get better defensively. Mitchell 6 of 6 from the line, back within 15. Cavs try to ramp up the pressure a little bit. Suggs, you kind of forget almost that he was a point guard in college at this point. They don't call that foul on Garland. They switch it, and now Banchero is guarded by Garland. Banchero backs in, goes through the arm of Garland, and that'll be 3 on him. He waves, but that's since he didn't do it directly towards the official, it's not a technical foul.
Nate, I enjoyed the note that somebody said that it's evening most of the places where people's VPNs are, so it gets them, in the right headspace.
So Banchero has lived at the line here, as he so often has. Probably one of the best young foul drawers in NBA history, Paolo Banchero.
Yeah, that free throw attempt rate, especially his rookie year, was really striking. And then it was a little bit of disappointment that didn't extend after in his second year. But it's like, well, really, how much further was it going to go? I mean, so in his rookie year, 7.9 free throw attempts per 36, and then 7.2 this year, still pretty dang good.
Yeah, this now is 8 of 8 from the foul line for Banchero.
Yeah, he's had 8. Donovan Mitchell's had 6.
They've got Isaac guarding Garland, and Mobley just dropped that pass. I mean, the Cavs just are getting into the paint and just can't do anything. They're 7 of 16 at the rim, 1 of 4 upper paint, and they've got a number of turnovers as well. Again, they're trying to run pick and roll and get Paolo the ball against Garland. They lob it up to him. Back to Suggs. They helped off of Suggs. Suggs can't make him pay that time. It's loose, and Mitchell goes down. I didn't really see anything there, honestly.
Suggs swung trying to tip the ball out there, but I didn't see contact, and that's free throws. Considering how much the Cleveland offense has struggled, that's pretty significant. And Orlando has a 110 offensive rating in this game. That's below league average, though playoffs are a little bit different there. They're still winning this game by double digits because the Cavs are at a 71-1.
Yeah, I mean, this has been their best source of offense, is Mitchell getting to the foul line.
I've got a question of how much does Hartenstein get this offseason? We'll talk about that more in the when we do that preview for Dunked On. But he's going to get less than I want. I think he's going to get more like solid starter money, like maybe in like a little bit below that, because there aren't that many center needy or even center desperate teams this summer as I'm thinking about it that have space.
Yeah, I mean, surely the mid-level is his absolute floor.
And I sincerely hope he gets a lot more than that.
So they've got LeVert back in now to guard Suggs. They try to go at Merrill defensively. Banchero on the drive, missed it, tipped out his own rebound, though, and it's Harris's three-pointer up top, and that's a massive play as Orlando now their largest lead of 18. Good job by Harris being ready for Merrill. That was a nice sub by Mosley to go back to Harris to guard Merrill after that 1-3 against Anthony. Swing it weak side. There's Harris there again. They force him inside the arc, and I guess they're going to get just a little hold around the waist as this game is ground down to an absolute crawl. And you just, if you're the Magic, like, you got to not foul, right? Like that's the only way that they're doing anything.
Simon thinks there's a Tibbs tax for Knicks free agents. Front office is not confident they'll get the same guy. We've seen Hartenstein be successful other places too. I mean,
he didn't get enough the last time he was a free agent.
Exactly. And I mean, and then the other part is like, there could be a Tibbs tax the opposite way for big men offensively, except for Mitchell Robinson, who can't pass the ball.
Yeah, the one thing that's gone right for the Cavs so far, in addition to the foul line, has been the Magic only 4 of 12 at the rim, mostly thanks to Mobley. Harris, back up top, Banchero, going to try and force him left, excuse me. He wants to go right, and I mean, this is unwatchable right now.
Oh, are they going to call this? That was an air punch closer to the ref. We'll have to get out our protractor and figure out whether the angle was sufficient there. Oh, is he? I think they're just going to challenge it.
And JP, I think the closer it's called. I mean, who is that better for? Like, that helps. Banchero's probably the biggest foul merchant, but also that's the only way the Cavs have been able to score.
There's not a lot there, but there's some arm contact kind of going into the shot. I don't think this gets overturned, though. We've seen the marginal thing change a few of these.
Yeah, I would have let that one go personally. I think they're calling this a little too tight right now. That's kind of the one that we've seen not be a foul. I mean, that's a little bit different though, because he is actually trying to turn the corner. This isn't one of those ones where he's already beaten him and you're kind of running alongside him. Like, he's trying to turn the corner, and it's tough to see it from that angle too, of like, is he move? It's not necessarily even the forearm as it is potentially he's moving his body into the path and then forcing him wider.
Joseph asks, what do you think of JJ Redick being a candidate for the Lakers head coaching vacancy? Broadly speaking, I'm not a huge supporter of people who have never been a head or assistant coach getting an NBA job as their first gig, even if they seem more adept for it than the average person. Redick's relationship with LeBron James is also very notable and complicated here. So I don't think it's a good idea for really anybody. And that doesn't mean I think Redick is like going to be bad. I mean, when I was covering the Warriors more directly, they did it twice. Mark Jackson, it worked out in certain ways and then not in others. And with Kerr, of course, it worked out better. But Kerr had experience within a front office and everything else. So I think it is a less likely path to success than most. And there are plenty of failures and frustrations with first-time head coaches, not only for first-time head coaches, first-time any coaches.
If Westbrook Scott's out, does 18 give more than minimum? Yeah, we apologize. Actually, we missed talking about him on the point guard free agents, so we'll have to hit him a little bit later. But maybe, I don't know. He is a tough fit. I'm just, there's reporting that he wasn't happy about going to the bench. He tried to clarify that in an Instagram post afterwards. I mean, if it is more than the minutes, let's see. Yeah, unsuccessful challenge. That was what I expected would be the case.
Yeah, there was enough contact there. That was more in line with the kind of the way that replays have been done for most of the year. But you need it to be, even with the kind of the new lens kind of concept that we've been seeing on reviews, there's still something there.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a better replay of it. We haven't gotten one yet.
As a straight note, QOTN brought this up. If LeBron and Redick continued their podcast while maintaining a coach-player relationship, it would be kind of amazing. I sincerely doubt that they would.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, that's the fact that he reaches in there with the left as well, like that. Yeah. That makes it pretty clear. You couldn't see that from the opposite angle, but yeah, he moves forward, reaches in. Yeah, that's.
And also, he got Banchero's arm, like his bicep, a little bit more with that arm when we saw the reverse angle than I had seen originally. Yeah, that's a foul. Well, it might be JB Bickerstaff's last challenge of this season.
Well, it is his last challenge.
Well, no,
I guess they could actually win the game.
Conceptually, yes.
Sorry, I
hadn't
considered that possibility the way this is going. So Banchero now, this is 9 of 9 from the foul line for a guy who shoots in the 70s. Yeah, that's a hell of a stat there. And 10 of 10 from the line, back to an 18-point lead. Cavs have started to find a little bit just through bullshitting for some fouls, but an actual field goal would be nice. They're going to screen for Mitchell off the balls. Now try to screen for Merrill. Then he sets another screen. Pretty complex action there, but they help off of Okoro. Okoro with a confident drive. That's what they desperately needed. Maybe too aggressive of a closeout even. So Merrill and Mitchell screening action on the weak side. They did a great job of defending that. And now Banchero is working. Oh, they set that screen in the lane. Banchero steps through, tripped, and they get him for a walk.
Seemed to be like the walk was caused by a trip, but it happens. Because of all the foul shots, will we see higher minute totals due to the large amount of rest? We should, if the game ends up being close enough that matters.
Same play they just ran here, it looks like. Screen for LeVert after the weak side screening. And I mean, these Magic guards are just blowing everything up. Mitchell finally gets the ball, but then Suggs switches onto him, and Mitchell, finally, they get a finish at the basket. Mitchell is down. They're going to push it up, running. Though, 5-on-4. Carter, corner, Isaac, offensive foul. Crash. Merrill took it on the pass and crash.
I hate the passing crash, but it did seem like Merrill was there early.
He barreled into Merrill.
Nice.
And I thought this play here, even though he does eventually finish it, barely, was indicative of just how good this Magic guard defense has been with Suggs and Harris. Now they go to a Spain pick and roll look. Mitchell pulls up over Carter. Nice 3 Magic there for the rebound. Yeah, I would, like you were talking about with Banchero, I would have liked him to bust out of there a little harder. Now it's Mobley on Banchero. First time we've seen that matchup in a while. Suggs will set the screen. Banchero takes the 3 against the under. Wow, that wasn't even close. And nice job by LeVert running it down.
Nate, we haven't seen Franz Wagner in a while, right?
Yeah, he's on 3 fouls.
Oh, that's right.
Here's LeVert into Isaac, and he scores on a man. John Isaac is, they're going to get a timeout here on a quick 6-0 burst by Cleveland. John Isaac just has not been that guy defensively in this series.
From NBA 808, should the Cavs have buyer's remorse on Mitchell? I think that the theory behind the Mitchell trade was still sound to me. He played at a high level. The results have not matched up, but some of that was due to injuries and everything else. We'll see where things go from here. Now, it seems like a lot of people are already pouring dirt on his Cavs tenure, which is both reasonable but not definitive yet. And the other kind of part of it is that the theory behind it was sound. I think they gave up too much to make it happen, even if that was maybe what was necessary to beat the Knicks offer. And if they can recoup a fair amount of that, not all of it, but a fair amount of it on the other end, like Donovan Mitchell is a really good basketball player, and the Mitchell-Garland pairing could have worked better. And then the other really challenging question for Cleveland, and I think this is what some people lose sight of in this, is the path not taken. It's hard to add players as good as Mitchell through kind of other ways. And it's not like Cleveland had spending flexibility kind of getting into it. So the idea that they did give up resources, they gave up meaningful resources to make it happen. Like, it was probably going to be, then the argument has to be, oh, well, you could have done with Garland, Mitchell, with Garland, Mobley, and Allen plus picks, like gotten to a good place. And especially given, and you could argue that Mitchell's hurt Garland, what we've seen from Garland since that point, I'm less confident in that than I was beforehand. Like the path not taken is looking worse. And yeah, of course, if you could theoretically, if you knew Lauri Markkanen was going to become Lauri Markkanen, then that's a different part of this too.
I mean, a lot of people have pointed to what he did with the Finnish national team as it being his breakout. As Suggs is on the attack here, kicks out Carter, fires the 3. Isaac is inside. Suggs runs it down. What a play. He finds Isaac underneath. Kick out Banchero. Good job by Okoro running him off the line. Banchero is stuck. Finds Suggs on the cut. Mobley stops him easily. Man, Mobley's been a monster. Merrill is stuck as well. They got to get it across. Mitchell very aware of that. And he goes into Suggs, and we're going to get a foul here on Suggs. I thought Suggs was not really in his path and reach across his body, as we're going to get more free throws. So Cleveland able to get now within 10 if Mitchell can make both of these.
And after a disastrous offensive start to this second quarter, Cleveland's going to get over 20 points, and they might get over 25 here. So they've been able to respond pretty well.
Yeah, it's really been the foul line. Now, I do think there's an argument that Mitchell really made the first contact with his elbow against Suggs, but with Suggs also reaching in, he gave him the ability to call that. Mitchell can't get that free throw, though. Yeah, and I think it's also clear he's got the arm wrapped around him, so obvious foul in the end, although
Yes.
Mitchell takes a shot from Carter after he picked up the ball. Yeah, not having Franz here, I think, has really been a problem for the Magic offense. It's just been exclusively the Paolo show.
It's
I
been a
would
problem for their defense, too.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I would maybe you would consider going back to Cole Anthony, but they want Harris in to guard Merrill, but that's useful. Oh, nice pass, but Paolo wasn't ready for it. That was actually there, and Paolo just didn't see it. Cavs get it up quickly. LeVert off the Merrill screen. They'll switch this. Now they run the pick and roll. LeVert into the lane. Attacks and finishes. Cleveland on a nice run here, but the Magic, they just haven't scored in forever. That's been their biggest problem. Good pressure by Okoro. Weak side, Mitchell guarding Isaac. Isaac getting to a mid-ranger, going to his right. Wow. And that, to me, by Mitchell is a little overly aggressive. I don't know why you need to, try to deny that DHO to John Isaac and give up a backdoor. I mean, they're trying to ramp up the pressure, but maybe there's a better way to do that. Mobley posting up Banchero. Gets him in the air. Banchero got the strip. Man, Mobley had him and just couldn't make the play to draw the foul. Now Banchero going to look to get a screen. Carter is open. They throw it to him. See, he needs to go up there. He needs to go up against Mitchell instead of kicking it out. And a wild drive by Suggs is not rewarded, thankfully. Mitchell on the push. Merrill fires a three, looking for his second of the quarter, and he cashes out. Down to 8.
And good vision there by Donovan Mitchell to see Merrill breaking above the break. And you could feel the Magic offense is kind of sapping their energy a little bit.
Yeah, and giving the Cavs actually some fast breaks, some pace. They're not going to get the 2-for-1 here. Paolo's going to go at LeVert. Goes right past him and finishes beautifully. That was excellent technique by Paolo to put the ball right on the backboard so Mobley couldn't block it. About a 5-second differential here, so the Cavs will want to run the time down pretty well. Mitchell directs traffic. He wants to go at Paolo and pick and roll. Suggs gets over the screen. No foul on that screening action. Mitchell getting past Banchero, but wild off the backboard. They've got time here. Banchero just pushed the ball. He's going way too slow here. He's tired, I guess. Gets it on to Suggs. I mean, that was terrible by Banchero. You can rest in 7 seconds, buddy.
Yeah, he could have passed that to Suggs if he really didn't want to push it himself.
All right, we're going to take a break here, get back for the second half. That should be rather interesting. All right, we're back here for the second half, and Cavs getting back into contact late, but still trail by 10 to start the quarter. Karis LeVert started to get some drives. The Cavs actually were 11 to 20 at the rim in the first half. They really struggled in the beginning. By contrast, the Magic only 5 of 15 at the rim. Evan Mobley, the biggest reason for that. And the Magic offense really fell apart down the stretch of that first half. They're 4 of 8 from mid-range. They're 7 of 15 on above the breakthroughs. They've only gotten one corner three up. Meanwhile, the Cavs have only hit 2 threes, although haven't gotten as many up. So I do think that this is perhaps a closer game than the score would indicate. It's been a weird half with foul trouble with Garland and Franz as well. So which of those two guys can get going is also going to be massive. Garland will start the second half.
If the Magic can generate good shots, I think they'll be okay here. But as you said, the margin it probably is closer when you consider how badly the Cavs have shot.
Franz gets to his mid-ranger and pulls up. That's just not really a part of his game. That 2-foot pull-up mid-ranger. Now Mitchell going right down. No, goes through the arm of Banchero. Did not get the call, but he does get the layup.
11-32, 31-30.
Suggs, they change sides of the floor through Carter. Harris on the move. He's got Mitchell on his back. Gets to a spot. Nice pass. He engaged Mobley and found Carter Jr. behind him. That's just found money to get Gary Harris going to the rim out of the corner against Mitchell. Banchero is guarding Okoro. Okoro was pretty good on him, I thought, in that second quarter stint when he came back. They try to get a little blind pig here, but they deny. Now it's Strus coming off the screen against Wagner, and he drains it. The movement shooting of Max Strus. Massive there.
Big shot for Strus. That's a big part of why they wanted to bring him here and see if Orlando can get downhill. Jalen said, "Oh, great!"
Oh, Garland was all over that play. Mobley's right on the floor. Garland goes in, pump fake, missed it, tipped out Carter. Harris controls. What a save! Here's Wagner going downhill, kicks out Banchero, wide open three, and he missed it. But that was still a great play as Garland, another bunny, missed at the rim. Mitchell tried to pull up quickly, and he felt Suggs on his back. Suggs had to back away, and now the Cavs are within 4 all of a sudden.
8-2 run for Cleveland at the start of this third quarter.
Yeah, the Cavs shooting starting to come around a little bit. Suggs in pick and roll, trying to get Mitchell on his back. Mitchell disengages from him, but fouled him in the course of that.
Oh, Nate, on StreamYard, you want to flip our pictures?
Yeah, I suppose I do.
There we go.
Banchero off the screen. Now he'll set it for Franz. Franz on the move, going downhill at Mobley. Oh, nice Gortat screen set by Carter. And this is going to be a foul. Is that Garland's fourth right there?
Yes, it is Garland's fourth. And trying to do one of the things that Orlando can do better here than they have so far is try to occupy Evan Mobley, try to take him out of the action because he's their only rim protection, supplemental or otherwise. So you might, anything you can do, if it's a Gortat screen, if it's just bringing him out on the floor and attacking on the other side, which they can do with Paolo and Franz, those would be huge benefits for them.
Yeah, the Magic led this game 49-31. Cleveland started getting to the foul line. Franz got his third. Orlando half-court offense started to struggle. And so it has now been after those free throws, I guess it was 55-51 at one point. So I guess that would have made it a 20-6 run. They force Mitchell away from the screen. Suggs bothering Mitchell from behind, and somehow he gets all the way to the rim and finishes. He's had a couple of those where he had to weave through multiple defenders and finish. They set the step-up screen here. Franz getting around Mobley. Mobley picks him up. Carter Jr. trying to get open underneath. Franz couldn't get it to him, and we're going to get another foul on Mitchell. Mitchell with his second of this half out of the perimeter.
That is the third team foul on the Cavs, which also could loom large, though they, of course, looked so much better offensively.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what Franz was doing there. He ended up screening off his own man. Here's Suggs 3. Banchero! Oh, I thought he got fouled by Mobley. It looked like he got pushed in the stomach there, missed the tip dunk, and Garland comes away with it. And he lost it again. It's loose. Back to Garland. They'll reset here. Mitchell is guarded by Banchero. He waves everyone away. He likes that matchup. Mitchell gets to the step back, just in and out. Suggs, a great rebounding guard. He'll throw it ahead. Banchero going to go into Strus. That's going to be a blocking foul, and a fourth on Max Strus. Similar play to what took place, I think it was in, was that game 6 where he challenged the Strus blocking foul?
I can't remember if that was 6 or 5. But not only is that the fourth foul on Strus, and also Donovan Mitchell fouled him. Fourth on Strus, but it's the fourth team foul on the Cavs. So Orlando is shooting the rest of the quarter.
Yeah, Banchero hasn't been great from the field, particularly around the basket, and there's his first missed free throw. But you saw he has 10 makes from the foul line. But it looks like with the Cavs back in contact here, we're going to have a very competitive second half. But plenty of rest for everyone, as Luke notes this quarter is going to take 90 minutes. Banchero does get that second free throw, 11 to 12 from the line. Yeah, Cavs got to find a way to get Garland going, or maybe it'll be LeVert. Blind pig action here. Garland on the move, and he missed another one. Good help by Carter Jr. Garland is behind now. Here's Banchero accelerating, and he's going to get bumped. No, he kicks it out. Carter's three-pointer. That misses. Magic can't hit anything. They're looking like the Cavs right now. Strus with the 4 fouls on the drive. Oh, he just short-armed that layup, and then Harris is going to get a foul underneath. This should be a non-shooting foul. He's half-heartedly asking for a review, but maybe he's like, you know what? Maybe I'm not important enough. I don't know if a foul on me is really.
Well, and also he grabbed a whole lot of Evan Mobley's arms right there. It seems like there had to have been contact.
Strus off the screen, and he's able to finish right into the chest of Carter Jr. That was just a nice little screen to get Strus turning the corner. Cavs offense looking so much better now. They've just executed better. They're getting better screens, more movement, quicker actions. And meanwhile, it's the Magic who are growing a little stagnant here. Banchero trying to post up. Okoro went for the steal. Banchero steps around, but Mobley forced an awkward miss late in the clock. Maybe that should have been a pass to the corner. Garland, he'll back it out. Does he have the confidence to go at Banchero one-on-one? Gets past him, and I mean, he's just airmailing these finishes. He had an easy layup there. What happened? And now a 3 for Suggs in transition. What a killer sequence that is.
He had a wide open lefty layup and it wasn't a good contest, and just Garland threw it off the backboard.
And then he just ran to the corner when he came back in. Mitchell, he'll try to drive. He goes through Carter Jr., didn't get the foul call. Magic coming right back here. Suggs. Carter, again, giving them a chance to change sides of the floor, but good denial by Okoro on Banchero. Good pressure by Garland, and said that leads to this jumper by Carter Jr., and not what they wanted that time at all. Maybe he should have gone back to Franz on the weak side. Here's Mitchell getting past Suggs. Help comes over. Mitchell stepping around, and he's going to get tripped. Donovan Mitchell getting excited here as his Cavs can come within one possession through his 2 trips to the foul line here.
Donovan Mitchell, I think he's already at 9 points, I believe, in this quarter. And that's before this potential play. Wow. He's been huge. Of course, Cleveland so far 14-8 at the start of this quarter to bring them back into contact. And, you know, that 14-8 could go to 16-8 in a matter of moments.
What do you think of, they're not doing it now. I don't know if they want to close the game with Okoro, I mean, those are basically your choices, though. It's got to either be Mobley on Banchero or Okoro. So if this game is going to be close down the end, do you play Okoro and put Mobley on the center, or are you going to try to? Yeah, I mean, I guess I would probably
I think
sit
you
with
put Mobley
Okoro.
on the 5. For
Yeah,
I think that's your primary because he's doing so much around the basket. I mean, right now Orlando in the whole game, they're 6 of 17 in the restricted area. The Cavs are 15 of 27. So the frequency there and then 6 of 17 is ridiculous. So if you to me you do what you need to do to get Mobley around the basket, and Paolo can kill you on mid-rangers. There have been times in the series where he's done it. But if you have Mobley there on the drives, you at least make those shots harder.
and it's just because they're not going to play Marcus Morris now. I think that they've realized that he had a good game 5, but he's turned back into a pumpkin. They're not going to play Niang. I don't think you can go Strus at the 4 and put him on Carter. They just don't really have another guy there. I mean, would you? I don't
Niang would
think
be
you'd
ideal,
go.
but he's not quite there either.
Yeah, I don't think you would go Levert necessarily. Although we'll see how Levert plays when he comes in. Garland is struggling so badly. You're kind of like maybe you would just go Levert. He's a better driver and finisher at this point, and he's also going to play more defense.
Sure.
But if they do go Mobley on Banchero, how Orlando elects to attack that would be interesting. The one thing I don't think Orlando is doing enough now, like they had some pretty good success going, like they've been doing a lot of this change sides of the floor, handoff stuff, screening action with Carter. I would try to go back to more of this pick and roll at the guards on the side with Banchero and Franz.
It worked well, and it didn't seem like the Cavs ever really had a counter. They just went away with it because they did. Got to go back to Merrill. I'm sure they will. And I don't know that Merrill's a part of your closing 5, but he absolutely should be a part of the rotation during this second half. But I think there's a little bit of conflation of Merrill's presence versus the defense being better and them getting transition opportunities where Merrill helped unambiguously. Like he absolutely helped, but he wasn't like the reason that run was so good. It was their defense and if you want to phrase it this way, Orlando's offense.
Yeah, I think he was very important. That he actually spread the floor for some of these guys too.
Sure.
In addition to actually getting the lid off the rim from 3.
He has made half of their 3-pointers in this game, and he made all of them, I believe, in the first half.
Garland's going to be on the bench, and I wonder how much more of him we're going to see tonight.
He'll play as Mitchell's backup. I think Mitchell,
but I don't know how much Mitchell is going to sit.
2 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, and it depends. I think where the game is at that point. Wedge screen here for Banchero. Okoro getting through it. Banchero just going to try to back him down. Mobley is lurking, so he couldn't go to the drop step. Now it'll be Franz looking to get downhill. Pick and pop. Banchero has to get it off quicker than he wanted, but he drains it. That's a massive shot.
They should have just straight switched that, and then they wouldn't have given up the 3.
Yeah, I let that late in the clock. I agree with you. Mitchell against Suggs. And he's turned it over. Good defense by Suggs. 3-on-3 developing here for the Magic. They try to get Mobley on the back. Carter is open. Underneath, Carter going to try Mobley here. Left-handed hook is no good.
And part of the reason that transition possession was short-circuited was Franz Wagner isn't a good three-point shooter. He was open in the corner because no one on the Cavs cared.
Well, and that was a great play by Mobley. I mean, he's stuck behind Suggs, dribbling the ball. Suggs throws it to Carter Jr., and Mobley gets there. Okoro, they got to do a better job of not guarding Okoro, I would say. Mobley across the lane. Strus stepping back, does not get it off. And that's one where he didn't know the time. The three-point culture here, people lament that a lot. I generally think it's bullshit, but in that case, he needed to just take that baseline too.
5:42, 41, 40 remaining in the third.
Nice rip through there by Banchero, but then he gets knocked backwards again. The presence of Mobley forces him to abort that drive, and then a bad foul in the backcourt by Harris.
We have not seen the Cavs 4 early fouls come home to roost. They have not picked up a fifth the entire game. That's the third on the Magic in the quarter. And now Markelle Fultz is in.
Yeah, Fultz is going to replace Harris.
And we'll see if the zone comes back.
Yeah, I do wonder why this isn't Cole Anthony. I guess they feel like Fultz is better defensively. I don't really think that Fultz has been that much better defensively.
I don't
and he's
either.
now guarding LeVert. LeVert gets him on his back. Into the lane, lobs it up. I think that was a pass. Mobley is stuck underneath. He has to get off the ball, and he throws it away. A 3-second violation was looming. Here's Banchero. Franz stepping back. I thought Banchero should have just gone up there. Who's going to block his shot? And now they throw it ahead. Mitchell into the lane, and Franz backed off for some reason, I guess, to avoid his fourth.
To avoid foul.
Yeah. So that was a key play there with Franz missing the corner three after Banchero doesn't go up, and Mitchell gets another one in transition. Fultz on the attack. He has to kick out. Suggs three-pointer, left it short. Carter Jr. off his knee and will go the other way.
And after we saw Jalen Suggs so confident from three in Game 6, 2 of 7 for him overall from three in Game 7.
Mobley going to screen for LeVert. They've got Mitchell in the left corner lurking, and we're going to get a hold on Fultz as they're trying to run something for Max Strus there. Magic picking up a lot of cheapo fouls right now. Yeah, clear foul here on Markelle Fultz. He's got him wrapped up.
And I believe that's the 4th team foul in Orlando.
This time they switch with Carter Jr. on LeVert, and that's another foul.
Push. And that's
foul.
5, and that becomes free throws because even though it's a non-shooting foul.
Yeah, and there, if you're Carter Jr. is switching onto him, like, show your hands, use your length to contain, back off a little bit. Let Caris LeVert prove that he can hit a jump shot, which he just has not been doing. And Mo Wagner is going to come in. Is that foul trouble for Carter Jr.?
Let me look. 4, yes. He's at 4, Harris 3, Franz Wagner 3, Strus 4, Garland 4, Donovan Mitchell 3.
Yeah, Magic somehow still clinging to this lead. They led by 10 at halftime. The LeVert a chance to cut into that at the line, and it's down to 2. Yeah, Fultz can't get to the basket here. He's not doing a ton for you, I would say. That's what he's going to try to do. And Okoro wraps him up. Jump ball, they say.
Yeah, it looked like it was a jump ball before it would have been a travel.
That's a really nice play by Okoro switching onto him. That's not really...
Oh, that was a travel first.
Matchup.
Yeah, that should have been a travel.
Yeah, a little infighting here for position. And this is a group that got completely sliced up by the Cavs getting to the basket in Game 6. Yeah, both teams being cited for a delay of game warning.
And one of the you talked about getting sliced up at Game 6. One of the other problems here is this is Mo Wagner without Isaac out there as like the real rim protector.
Right, that's exactly what I was talking about. That's the group with Mo out there with no Isaac. And here's Mitchell. Count it! I didn't see much there in terms of a foul, but Mitchell going right through Suggs one-on-one. He has been dominant here in the third quarter.
Mitchell had 15 points at halftime on 3 of 13 from the field. He now has, 30 points so far. So he's doubled his output in just this third quarter.
Yeah, and he only, that's. I don't know what y'all think in the comments there about that being a foul on Suggs. He's wrapped him up a little bit around the back, but didn't love that. There's a missed free throw, and Strus almost had it, but couldn't control it. Yeah, so they're willing to switch LeVert onto Banchero, and Banchero wants that matchup. Here comes the double team. They swing it. Not fast enough, though. No advantage. They force Franz towards the baseline. He goes right at Mobley. Not a good idea. Cavs have it. Mobley has been so massive in this third quarter defense, really all game, but particularly the third. LeVert, blocked from behind by Fultz, goes right back up, and a foul is called. I'm not sure whether this is going to be Fultz or Wagner.
I think that should be on Wagner. He brought his hand down, and they do call it on Mo Wagner.
Yeah, I really do not like this unit at all for Jamal Mosley.
And
yeah, I mean,
and you also get into some of the process stuff. Like Franz Wagner driving on Evan Mobley is not an advantage matchup. He keeps thinking it is, and it keeps on not being one.
Well, it's one thing if he's turned the corner clean, he's coming down the middle of the lane, he's got the ability to Euro step, but where that whole possession starts is Max Strus executing by keeping Franz on the side, forcing him to drive towards the baseline. Then you don't really have the optionality to make a move there as Wagner, and he just has to go right into his chest, and he gets completely blocked. Yeah, I think you got to make some kind of a move here as Mosley, though. This lineup is not working on either end. Pick and roll. Banchero steps around, missed it. Mo on the rebound. He's going to try to fight it up, finds Fultz, and Mobley picked him up. Fultz with the change of pace and finishes. What a move by Markelle Fultz. And maybe right there, Mobley should have backed off just a little bit more. Now it'll be Mitchell. I mean, they have no one to stop him at the rim right now. He's going to just keep doing that in every single possession against this lineup. Like, how do you not look at the film of the last game and see that that's what happened? Banchero, they do give up the switch now with Strus. They're going to double team. He picks up his dribble in an awkward spot. Now he goes to an impossible fadeaway. Suggs pushed Mitchell out of the way, gets it underneath, draws the foul on Mobley, and he'll go to the line. Mobley there, one of the few times he hasn't trusted his size, he comes down, unless this is Mitchell who picks up the foul, but I thought it was Mobley.
Very disappointing from Jamal Mosley. And it gets into this concept that you and I talk about a lot called the theory of the lineup. And it's like, what is this group supposed to do? What are their strengths and their weaknesses? And if you don't have somebody who can protect the rim out there, and the other team has a great rim attacker who is playing relentlessly, your success rate is low. And when you consider that this isn't like some sort of great offensive lineup where you can take the ball out of Mitchell's hands, you can prevent transition because they have to get the ball out of the basket every time, it's even worse.
Well, I think what they should have done is gone Isaac.
Absolutely.
Go Isaac at center. And now they started Isaac at center, and that didn't really work that well for the first two games of the series. But Isaac is actually a superior shooter to Mo Wagner. Mo Wagner, where his value comes, is being kind of the fulcrum, a lot of pick and roll stuff. They don't have any pick and roll guards out there right now. Like, he works pretty well with Cole Anthony for that reason. And, of course, obviously he works well next to Isaac, because you're not going to take out Franz or Paolo. So I think where the error is going to Mo rather than John Isaac here.
Because you're probably not going to play both of those along with Paolo and Franz. I think that's completely reasonable. And yeah, they theoretically could sub one of the two star young forwards out and have Cole Anthony or somebody else there. And that's another pathway they could choose, especially at this late juncture in the quarter. But yeah, something like that would be important. Orlando needs a point of attack defending wing who's at least somewhat a viable offensive player. That isn't their biggest need. It would be useful for them to have, but the idea behind it is, well, that player, because if you can't, where's that guy going to play? So if you're retaining Paolo and Franz and you're retaining Jalen Suggs, first of all, then you don't have enough offense. So it would be great for them to have, just like any team would love that. But it's that sort of an archetype to me that would require losing one of Paulo or Franz Wagner. And that is a palatable thing for me, probably less palatable for Weltman and company, but the offensive issues are more pressing. Now, the other thing that they could try, which would be an interesting roster building point, they don't really have this guy on roster. Maybe it could have been OKK at some point, is instead of devoting the resources for that guy to be an intended starter or closer, as a change of pace, as a defense first guy who's flawed enough that you can't use them all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think of Suggs as a viable offensive player. He's making his 3-pointers well enough.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is if they go to a 3-and-D wing with as the fifth guy along with Suggs, Wagner, Banchero, and Carter, that's not enough.
Newbie question, just to think of this episode, 2 things you could do. One is if you're a League Pass subscriber, you can use a VPN and just say you're in Europe, and then you can actually get the screen in this window. Or you can go to YouTube as well. That'll
because we're simulcasting this on YouTube.
Yeah. So Okoro is plus 19. And I think they're not. The other thing that they can do to stop these Cavs guards assaulting the rim like this is just not guard him and try to bring another guy into the action, Kyle Lowry style, and they're not doing a good enough job of that, I don't think. And you want to see more plays where Isaac Okoro is catching the ball on the perimeter and has to make a decision against a closeout.
And am I correct that Jamal Mosley did not make any changes to add in a rim protector here? It's the same 5 that it was before.
It would appear so.
Very disappointing. Because now it's not even like, oh, you saw it on the film. You've seen it in this quarter.
Step up screen by Mobley. They hedge. They should go right back to this. Instead, Mitchell getting downhill into the lane. Mobley recovers. It didn't go up against Wagner. Let's see if they can get something better. Strus's 3. Nice little flare screen set there to get him open.
Good reaction there by both Mobley and Strus and get a 3.
Cavs with their first significant lead of the game. Paolo going to set a screen, as will Franz. They'll just switch this. Wagner, this is a terrible possession. They've had one pass. Wagner works into the lane, fights it up over Strus, and again, Wagner, the lack of the in-between game, and now he's not getting back. Levert's just going to go right at Mo, finding Mobley. Mobley going to try to fight it up, and a jump ball has been called.
That could have been a lot worse for Orlando than it was. I thought Levert was going to get a layup or a foul there, and instead it's going to be a jump ball. Banchero, Mobley.
Yeah, it's a nice little screen. And Franz Wagner, I think another little takeaway I have from this series is Franz Wagner may a little overrated on defense.
Yes.
I mean, same thing with Jonathan Isaac. We talked about him too, that they not really the perimeter defender they've hoped he would be, but Banchero does win that jump ball. They must get Franz Wagner going. He's really struggled. And now they've got Mobley on Banchero. Can the Magic find a way to take advantage of that? Good stunt off of Suggs. Here's Banchero rejecting the screen, flies in, offensive foul call. Okoro stepping in to make a huge play.
I liked the hesitation there at the start of the dribble from Paolo Banchero, but then Okoro, it seemed like he was there in time. Yep. Even though I hate the charge, that seems like a correctly called one.
Yeah, that one's about as obvious as it gets, and I'm really glad that Paolo didn't suffer an injury on that one. Like, that seemed like it was headed for a wrist injury. So they're going to get Mobley a brief rest here with Thompson. Strus's three. Another one going to his right. He beat Franz again, and Mo Wagner has been late getting out there a couple of times as well. Now they set the screen for Franz getting downhill. Thompson picks him up. They help off of Fultz. He kicks out. Franz Wagner's three. They desperately need it. Isaac tried to tip it away. Oh, Fultz with some nifty ball handling off the rebound. He's going to go at Mitchell. Plows into him. Kicks weak side. Isaac, they desperately need this three. Not there. Suggs is up for the board. Fultz on the drive again. Kicks out. Suggs, could he make a three? Not happening. And this is going to be a terrible over-the-back breaker by Mo Wagner. He had no chance at that rebound.
And a disastrous possession for the Orlando Magic. I think that was 4 clean looks from 3, none of which were there. And, I mean, that has to be dispiriting for the team.
Yeah, they've made only 2 3-pointers in this quarter.
And it is
2 for 10.
And it is, before these free throws, it is a 31-15 third quarter in favor of the Cavaliers.
Yeah, it's not even Franz's hesitation to shoot. It's just that's how long it takes him to get it off.
And there was another one, is that that his teammates understand this too, because Jalen Suggs, when he grabbed one of those million offensive rebounds, Wagner was wide open. He passed it to Fultz instead, I think in part because he knew Fultz would pass it back to him.
If Gary Harris can do it, they need to get him back in the game. Like their defense is getting completely carved up on the perimeter, whether it's Strus or guys getting to the basket, as Garland is actually, looks like he's waiting at the table to come in.
And so this is going to be Garland for Mitchell. So he will get at least 41 seconds of rest. And my belief is that the Magic won't execute this 2-for-1 correctly.
Yeah, we'll see. Fultz is going to push it up. He's guarded by Levert. They try to run a little shooting set here for Suggs. That was nice, but he missed it. Franz runs it down. They should go at Garland here. Have Suggs set a screen for Franz. Instead, Mo Wagner will do it. Thompson comes up to guard him. Drop coverage. Franz attacks. That was good defense by Tristan Thompson, and he gets the rebound. Cavs can get the last shot of the quarter here. What a turnaround it's been. They're plus 18 in this quarter and looking for more. Levert against Franz. Hesitation. Gets to a spot. They tried to screen off the big with Thompson, but instead there was no space. But matters little for the Cavs here. They outscore the Magic by 18 in this quarter, 33-15. And the Magic have a ton of work to do.
Orlando's shot chart from this third quarter.
Oh, my God.
2 of 3 in the restricted area. 0 for 8 in the upper paint. 0 for 2 from mid-range. And then 2 for 11 on threes. 0 for 2 in the corner. 2 for 9 above the break. So that is, you could think of this a couple different ways. One of that is 2 for 13 on jump shots. 2 for 21 on shots outside the restricted area. And then, I mean, Donovan Mitchell, of course, the dominant force for the Cavs during that stretch. For him, 5 of 6 in the restricted area just in that quarter. He had more made field goals in the third quarter than the Magic's entire team. That doesn't even include the free throws. And then he, of course, made a 3-pointer.
Yeah, I thought one nice little adjustment was doing a little bit more switching on Paolo, double teaming if necessary. And in the end, you're really only giving up a mid-ranger to Paolo because you've got Evan Mobley behind, and he's not really going to be able to challenge him. Like we saw multiple plays early in the third where Paolo maybe had the advantage going to his left and then had to pull up short along the baseline because Mobley was lurking there.
Do either of these teams push Boston past 5 games? I wouldn't expect it. It is possible. Both the Cavs and the Magic have players that they can execute well enough, but Boston is significantly better than both of them. And particularly if Jared Allen is limited or can't play, I would guess it'll hopefully be more limited than can't play if the Cavs advance. They're going to be even tougher. Is it unlikely to win a title without a two-way 5-out lineup? And what does that mean for the Nuggets? Oh, it's totally possible to win a title that way. I mean, we're seeing some of the best teams in the league this year. I mean, if anyone who's big on Minnesota with how well they played, they don't play 5-out. There, you can make it happen. You just need a lot of different things to go well. What is Mobley's offensive ceiling? There were times where it looked like he could either go like the Bam Adebayo archetype, or have the ball in his hands a little bit more, or maybe be the like lower usage 3-point type. So maybe more like Miles Turner's a little bit more extreme than that. Unfortunately, the 3-pointer hasn't consistently come around, and the on-ball game. So I think of Mobley more as being like the 4th or 5th best offensive player in successful lineups. And you can live with that, with how good his defense is, but he's not, to me. I don't see the building blocks there for a really a more dominant offensive player. I'd love for him to prove me wrong. He is still pretty young, but usually we'd have seen it by now.
Yeah, I think Bam is a pretty decent analog for maybe what he could be someday. But Bam is a way better ball handler than he is, though, even early in his career. That's probably a difference.
Much better ball handler and is better using his physicality, which is funny because Mobley is, I mean, they're built a little bit differently, but like Mobley's taller than Bam is.
Yeah, so Cole Anthony is in again to guard Garland, and they've got Mitchell still in the game. They gave him a very brief rest, and he's now guarded by Isaac. So no Suggs, no Harris here. They're going all bench, and Strus, who hit a couple of big threes. Good box out by Mo Wagner, and that's one I don't think you need to call. Like the Magic had the rebound. I think you can just let that one go.
The other thing to watch here is if Isaac is actually, their intention is to have him guard Mitchell, then he's not a supplemental rim protector. You don't have anyone back still. You've partially solved the problem, but not really. Why are they playing with Suggs, with Mitchell on, and both Suggs and Harris off the floor?
Because that's what they do. You can't change it. Fultz, tough jumper. That is a really difficult shot. Good contest by LeVert. But Fultz has got a couple of mid-rangers, and now Mitchell, he wants to just go right at Isaac. Isaac trying to pressure him up. They'll set the screen here. Mobley's getting a rest as well. Mitchell takes a deep three. He didn't have his legs under him. It didn't matter. Huge three there. Isaac just not going to get over that screen. And with Mo Wagner in a drop coverage, he's not going to impact that shot either. Trying to change sides of the floor here. Garland going to keep him on the left side. Anthony's going to engage. He doesn't kick it out to the top. And Tristan Thompson has actually been pretty solid as a rim protector, I would say, in this game, backing up Mobley. Here's Mitchell. And that will not count. They foul out on the floor.
And Mitchell completely wrong-footed Cole Anthony there. And it looks like we're going to see some subs here for the Magic, which they've needed in the worst way for, I don't know, about 6 minutes here. But they'll get them now.
Yeah, Tristan Thompson, one of the league's best screeners. You can kind of get away with that butt turn as you're setting the screen to roll to the basket. And they're going to get Carter Jr. in finally as they do Mobley. So Tristan Thompson gave them some decent minute or two. I was going to say minutes. I'm not even sure it was multiple. Here's Okoro's three. They let him shoot. That's the first time, really, that they've forced Okoro to do anything. Banchero is back in the game as well. They force him into the waiting arms of Mobley, and Mobley with a good closeout. There again, this is great defense by the Cavs, keeping him on the side, and we're going to go the other way. You saw both of these. This is JB Bickerstaff doesn't get enough credit for the way he just gets guys to execute on the defensive end. They had two plays where they wanted to get middle off the screen, and the guy guarding the ball handler wouldn't let him do it.
10:06, 05, 04 for YouTubers.
And that's pretty ugly there for the Magic, as there's a crossover by Mitchell. Good contest there by Isaac. I would try to use the screen as Mitchell against him. Banchero plows in, and he's going to get fouled.
That is the second team foul on Cleveland. One team foul so far for the Magic, and Banchero going to the line. He's already taken 12 free throws so far in this game. This will be 13 and 14. And yeah, that 1 for 7 from Banchero in the third quarter. Most of that was in the third quarter. I think he's taken 1 so far. That's big. That I don't think that's the reason why the Magic offense flatlined, but it didn't help.
Yeah, people talking in the comments about the Fultz jumper and how that was such an L for draft grades. I mean, I don't think so. That even in summer league, his jumper looked fine. Like, go back and watch a draft scouting video of Markelle Fultz shooting the ball and tell me that it looks anything like this. There's no way to predict this. That's why it's been such a ridiculous story. Coro handing off to LeVert. Now they want to get the step up for Garland. He'll snake into the lane. Carter Jr. picks him up. Ingles not guarding Okoro. Okoro plows in and hits an awkward footer. I thought he actually should have gotten a foul call on that.
Agreed.
But Ingles is actually probably doing the best job of anyone of not guarding him, in part because he's Joe Ingles. He's just not going to get out there. Banchero getting a screen from Anthony. They're trying to go back to that guard screening. He'll back in. And can't get that floater.
And a nice rebound there by Donovan Mitchell, too. See if he can push here.
LeVert. Into the lane. Okoro, pass fake. Back to LeVert. Big three-pointer. LeVert not even close. Good rebound by Paolo. He's got to push it here, but he's played a lot of minutes. I don't know how much energy he has, and Mobley gets back in front of him. Good pressure by Mitchell. Again, they're going to try to keep Anthony on the side. They can't do it. He'll re-screen. Into the lane. Kicks out. Banchero going to go at Mobley. That's a great pass. But Ingles not even close. I have no idea how he's played 4 minutes here. And that is an exhausted foul by Banchero.
And I believe that's the second team foul in Magic, but it will be free throws. That should be a shooting foul, right? I mean, he was gathering.
They're not going to say that it is.
Ooh, I disagree with that.
Suggs remains on the bench here. I mean, he's been out for 3.5 minutes. Like they should just bring him back in. Wagner as well. He rested a ton in the first. Garland off the screen, going right into Carter. Didn't want to shoot it. Kicks out to LeVert. Mobley trying to post up underneath on Anthony. They get it to him with 7 to shoot. He plows in and left it short. Got to finish that one. Banchero on the push again. They haven't gotten much out of his transition attacks. Anthony going baseline and gets an easy floater. That was a weird defense, and JB's going to take a timeout here. They didn't get into the ball at all on him for whatever reason. Like, they didn't direct him baseline, which I think they're supposed to be doing. Maybe that no one ever called the screen out or what, but they just backed off and let him just go right to a floater.
Jargon asks if Chris Paul would be a good addition for the Magic on a balloon 1-year contract. No, because they should do better than that. Chris Paul, like, he's not going to solve their problems for the short term or the long term. And when your best players are as young as the Magic's are, you're not looking for a 1-year stop. They have cap space this year, or theoretically next year, that depending on how they work it. You can aim higher than a old point guard who doesn't run in transition. They need to do better than that. Simons, potentially. That's one of the ones that Nate and I have been more interested in. And there are also some structures that they could save the Blazers money. They could do that as an unbalanced trade, which could interest Portland for a variety of reasons, one of which is saving their owners money. So that could potentially be a value add for them. Nate, best closing 5 for each team. Or if you're taking a break, then I'll do it. And he's not in his chair, so I will answer that. For me, for the Cavs, I think it is their starting 5. Okoro's done well enough to make that work, so I think it's them. And then for the Magic, I think it's It's either their starting five or it's Cole Anthony over Harris if Harris is sufficiently compromised. But I think you need that defense out there. So for me, it's Wagner, Franz, Paolo, Carter, Suggs for sure, and then either Harris or Anthony. So since I think the Cavs missed their first 9 3-pointers of this game, since then they've been 7 of 12. That is significantly better. They're overall at 33%, and the Magic are at 32.
They actually haven't played Merrill in this half, have they?
They did very briefly, I believe. Let me look. I thought I saw him on the floor. Nope, I was wrong. He hasn't played at all in the third. What? Or in the fourth? Did you say? Let me check.
So I don't think he's played all in the second.
He has not played at all in the second half. You are correct.
Yeah. I mean, it's been going. They also, part of the reason he played so much in the first was Strus's foul trouble.
Correct. Yeah, and as DJ Vinland mentions, Franz Wagner, they sat him for a lot of the second quarter with foul trouble, and he is not currently in foul. He has not committed another foul since then. Though he did pass off of one on the play they just showed where Donovan Mitchell got a layup and he didn't contest it.
Yeah, like for the Wolves, I do think that Evan Mobley has been just such a massive component of this game and probably isn't going to get talked about enough.
Absolutely. And I mean, the rim protection is a massive part of this story. Orlando for the game, 7 of 18 in the restricted area, and then 3 of 14 from floater range.
Cavs looking to push it up to a 9 or 10 point lead here. LeVert going to work to get the switch with Harris. They want to try to deny Mitchell. Now Franz is on him. 4 to shoot. Mitchell stepping back, gets separation, but couldn't get enough steam on it going to his left. Good stop by Wagner. Quick screen set for Anthony. Anthony working along the baseline. Garland is on him. Anthony gets out of it, fades away, missed it. Another miss in the upper paint for Orlando. And LeVert's going to fly in. And, I mean, Banchero is absolutely exhausted right now. Like, he couldn't even, see that was coming. He is so tired defensively. Gets off the ball, and now it'll be Wagner. Screen for Banchero. Okoro has defended him quite well. They get the switch. Banchero, again, he had the cut open, just too tired to take it. Now he's going to have to go one-on-one against LeVert. They miscommunicate. He goes in, and Mobley, that one of the few times that Evan Mobley not able to get his body in front of that penetration, and Banchero will get to the line. But I think these are only his third and fourth free throw attempts of the second half.
Great finish there. And then to go reverse to block Cole Anthony from getting there, and the rim protection. I can't remember who that extra guy was, but I think it was Paolo. Really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Paolo he never even turned his head around to see that someone was dribbling up the court and he should come over and help. It has been an absolute slog for the Magic here in the second half, and Paolo missing that free throw. Mitchell now guarded by Harris. Suggs, for some reason, is still on the bench. Good denial on Garland by Anthony. Now they get the blind pig going. Anthony denies that too. Mobley getting to his spot against Carter. Got good separation on the spin move.
I thought he was using that spin move to set up Garland for 3, but just takes the shot.
Cleveland now up 10, and Orlando, we don't even know if they're going to score 10 points the rest of this game. LeVert guarding Banchero. Banchero turns the corner and dunks on him.
And what's his question about, can he dunk some of these? Dunk that one. He is very tired, though.
Yeah, Carter Jr. looking pretty fatigued as well. LeVert turning the corner, kicks out. Garland in a wide open corner three, misses, but Banchero again just can't react to the rebound. Garland will try again, and that's big trouble now for Orlando. God, keep conflating those two guys. Jamal Mosley is going to get a timeout here, and down 11 with under 6 minutes to go. It's a tall mountain indeed for Orlando to climb.
And even though comebacks like this often start at the defensive end, I worry about Orlando's offensive juice to even generate enough quality looks other than in transition to make this happen. And they don't have great transition personnel. They don't have guys who can really grab and go. And that relies a lot on Paolo Banchero, who's clearly exhausted, Jalen Suggs, who hasn't been great in this game, and Franz Wagner, who's been even worse in this game.
They've got 24 points in the second half. This is basically, they've been as bad in the second half offensively as Cleveland was in the first half, maybe even worse.
How bad and soft are Evan Mobley screens? Really soft and bad. That is very common for young players, especially young, thin players. It's been a criticism of mine of a lot of different guys for a really long time. So I'd like to see him improve.
Yeah, I did think it was notable that Mitchell really got his only three out of pick and roll when Tristan Thompson was the screener.
And it's a challenge for front office personnel because really good screeners are intensely valuable. It just so happens that most of them aren't as good on kind of some of the other key stuff. So like Steven Adams, his screening so important for John Morant's game 2 years ago. But Adams isn't the greatest defensive player. He doesn't provide the fly-out spacing and all that type of stuff. I guess you could say the even bigger unicorn than the one that everyone's already looking for is a three-point shooting center who can actually set credible screens. That might not even exist. Horford's probably the closest. At least that I can think of. Because Miles Turner sets bad screens too. How's Wemby screening? Bad. It could get better in time. Bad now. And Chet's a bad screener. A lot of these guys are. Oh yeah, but see, Marc Gasol never had that versatility to his 3-point shot. So he could shoot threes and set screens, but he didn't. He wasn't that kind of shooter. Oh, Brook, that's another good one. Yeah, Brook sets pretty good screens. There are times where I wish his were a little bit better, but relative to his competition, yeah, he's strong. And Porzingis, it depends. Porzingis was a terrible screener though in his early 20s. He was one of the worst in the league, and then he got better.
And it depends too of what they're being asked to do, right? Like Porzingis or Miles Turner with their pick and pop game, they're being asked sometimes to just get out of there quickly. Or if you have a guy who's really good in the short roll, you'll ask him to get out of there quickly as well.
Hard to screen as thin men know. Are you discussing technique? It's a little bit of both. Bigger guys are better screeners, but there are some who can get it. Just like there are some legitimately good guard screeners out there too. It's possible. It's hard, and usually it's not fun. But the bigger frustration for me, and I used to harp on this so much with Porzingis, is you actually get more open for shots if you set better screens.
All right, last gasp coming here for the Orlando Magic. Looks like they've gone back to their starting group. As far as they're down, I think they could maybe try to get some more threes for Carter Jr. He's not a great option there, but at least it gives you some variance. Mobley switching on to Banchero. Banchero stopped by Mobley. Carter Jr. going to fight it up inside, and that's a good way to get to the foul line and give him a chance to get it within 8.
And that is Evan Mobley's 4th foul. He hasn't really been in difficulty for most of this game, but doesn't take much for that to become a complicating factor here too.
Yeah, with Mobley switched on to Banchero, that left the glass exposed. They don't really have a traditional 4-man out there. Back to 8. Cavs will have to keep scoring at least a little bit here And it's interesting that they've got Suggs on Garland and Harris now guarding Mitchell. Wow, Harris just blew up that screen by Mobley off the ball. Instead, it's a screen for Garland, but he missed that. And Suggs is limping. Didn't see what happened to him there. Looks like it might be maybe he got kneed in the thigh in that screen. And then Carter Jr. throws it away. Banchero was trying to go backdoor, but good pressure by the Cavs can create those sorts of miscommunications.
Yeah, that's a pronounced limp from Jalen Suggs.
Mobley has struggled catching and finishing, but he's going to get plowed into here. And Mobley and Harris got engaged. I mentioned how Harris just blew into Mobley when he tried to screen for Mitchell on the previous possession. I think that that lingered in that little exchange, but Mobley's going to get some free throws. No, they say on the side.
And that's the third team foul on the Magic.
Garland looking for Strus off the ball. They defend that well. Now Carter Jr. on the switch. That releases Mobley to the basket, and he scores over Banchero, back to a 10-point game.
A couple of big baskets here from Evan Mobley. They haven't necessarily been the greatest shots, but they've gone in.
Wagner going to try one-on-one. Strus contains him easily. They go screen out of there. Banchero working on Okoro bothering him. Banchero has drawn the foul, and he passed off. He hits himself in the head there. He could have had 2 free throws.
Somebody asked about Mobley's hands. I think of Mobley as having the term I've used in my head. I don't know that I've ever said this publicly. He's like volleyball hands. So he's good at bumping, setting, and spiking, but he's not good at catching. And those are 2 different things. And so that's why he has good defensive hands, but not great offensive hands.
Well, and I think on some of those little lay down passes, he doesn't catch it that well. Certainly, he bobbled it on that play before he got fouled. Well, Orlando was, in fact, in the bonus, so it'll be free throws for Banchero. Yeah, Cavs definitely need to avoid fouling here. And Banchero has been 1 of 2 from the line 3 times here in the second half.
After going...
Suggs with the steal. They just threw it away. Terrible pass by Mobley. And then we're going to have another non-shooting foul here on Garland. So that'll a turnover in the backcourt is going to get Franz back to the line.
And it has been a challenging game for Franz Wagner so far. 1 of 12 from the field, 5 points, 6 assists, no turnovers, -9 in 31 minutes.
5th foul called on Garland.
Yes, 5 on Garland, 4 on Mobley, 4 on Strus, 4 on Carter Jr., 4 on Gary Harris.
And that is an atrocious pass by Mobley. Because Mitchell has no way of knowing that Suggs is there. Down to 7 with 4:15 left. Let's see if Garland can get it across before 8 seconds this time.
2 to spare.
Strus screens for Mitchell, who turns the corner, and a terrible reach in by Carter Jr.
And that is his 5th, I believe.
And he's done his job there. If Mitchell is going to pick the ball up and shoot a tough mid-ranger over a guy who's almost a foot taller than him, you've done your job there to reach in. Just not very smart, but fatigue definitely really starting to set in with some of this Magic decision-making, I would say.
And I think we're at a time where Mosley should consider using his use it or lose it, maybe splitting these free throws, just to get your guys a little bit of rest.
Has Mitchell earned all these free throws, in your opinion, we were asked?
Yes. I haven't
so.
seen him benefit from any soft calls. Maybe 1 or 2, but like in the realm.
Yeah, bad foul there by Orlando. They're going to try to screen Garland into the action here. Swift the angle. Banchero, good hesitation, goes right into Mobley. Didn't have anything there. Gets it back and finishes. He knocked Mobley out of the way. And, I mean, Banchero now, he looks like he's dealing
Right
with, like,
knee
some kind of a, I think it was his knee. It looks like maybe like a calf cramp or something,
could be that
the
too.
way
You're
he's
better.
running.
You're better at IDing that than me.
Yeah, I didn't see exactly what happened to him, though. Good pressure by Suggs against Garland. Now they want to guard screen. Garland getting to a spot, and another terrible foul by the Magic. Absolutely terrible.
A reach there by Harris, and it looked like he caught Garland on the wrist. Maybe he's the on that one. Okay, so yeah, I mean Harris is not signaling for a replay, so yeah, it's probably fine.
They do have a challenge remaining, the Magic.
And that's why I was looking to see Gary Harris's response, but I did not see him indicate anything of that nature because we never got to see a replay.
Yeah, let's see if we can catch the foul here in the end. Yeah, just a bad reach. I mean, you're right there. You chest up on him. He's got an impossible shot late in the clock, and now there will be that use it or lose it timeout from Mosley.
Will Mobley guard Tatum? While I think that Mobley is their best one-on-one defender, that it takes him away from the basket. So the Celtics run that a little bit differently, even if Porzingis is unavailable for the series, which is my expectation. So no, I don't think we'll see that most of the time. I think you'll do the best you can with the guys that you have. Okoro will probably get the assignment a fair amount of the time, and then you keep Mobley around the basket. It's not the same dynamic as the series, but parts of it are the same.
Yeah, we'll, of course, look ahead to that series on tonight's Dunked On, which will be on YouTube Live as well. Let's talk a little bit about the Magic offense. If they're going to have any possibility of getting back into this here, generating some better shots, do you think there's anything that they can do?
Defense feeling it, getting in transition, but trying to get Garland involved in the action. He's fought relatively hard, but I think getting Garland, getting Mitchell involved, and because of how inconsistent Orlando's three-point shooting is, you might even be trying to get three the hard way just because the three-pointers. But if you can generate them, if you can get the defense to collapse a little bit, that's about the best you can do.
Yeah, really, the only thing they can do is stop fouling and then just try to get transition or turnovers. They do have 11 steals in this game, but it certainly looks like fatigue is set in. And there's another example. Garland getting a steal from behind on Suggs. What a disaster immediately out of the timeout. Now he's going to try to go right at Franz Wagner here. Let's see, do they bring help? Strus is going to ghost out of there. Banchero switches on to Garland. Garland floats it up, and that's in all likelihood going to pretty much put this one out of reach.
I mean, the Magic could score for 11 points if they get another 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, wait, they only have 250? That's hard.
Here's Franz stepping back for three. That misses. Garland has made a couple of nice plays. Good rebound there and touch to Mitchell, and they can run some more clock now. They go for the double team. Garland, good job making himself available. Strus now looking to get it back to Mitchell. Mitchell on the move past Carter. Tries to throw it up and draw the foul. They don't reward it that time. Wagner. Suggs, quick release on the three. Can't get it. He wanted the foul and did not get that either. Double team again on Mitchell. Okoro is wide open
from the Magic
underneath
defense.
Mobley, and he's hammered by Suggs. And Suggs is going to continue to accost the referee about what he thought should have been a three-shot foul on the other end. A lot of times you'll see guys do that on offense when they don't get a call. They just absolutely hammer somebody on the other end.
Yeah. For some reason, I think we might be seeing some of that in the in the Mavericks Thunder series next round.
Mobley hits that free throw.
And this is surely a disappointing result for the Magic, especially consider where they were earlier in this game. But they've still had a very successful season, blew through their over/under total, and a lot of things to be excited about in the future. But some big decisions for their front office to make.
There's Suggs. He wanted another foul call, and now he's going to get it. Not a good foul by Mobley. If they didn't score on that possession, I was going to turn it off, but instead they give up a 3-shot foul. And that's obvious. Yeah,
he gets him on the
right on the forearm.
Yep. And so I don't even know if this is perfect game territory for the Magic. They have to get a lot to go right here, forcing some turnovers. And one of the frustrations for me in this late going is that they haven't had really a strategy like forcing pressure, trying to turn things over. They've kind of brought some token pressure, but nothing to really.
Yeah, I mean, they've been double teaming Mitchell to get the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, but not like trying to force turnovers overall. Like they're like you need to go to some desperation strategies for the last minute or two.
I don't know what else they're supposed to do though. What else would you have them doing?
Trying some
like in the back, maybe in pressure in the backcourt,
three-quarter court.
Yeah. Yeah, that was probably a foul on that last one.
Mm-hmm.
That
was the first time we got to look at it.
That is one of the underrated things of being able to get your three-pointer off quickly is you are going to draw some of those fouls, and even to get one of those a game is just so massive for your efficiency. Oh, only 2 out of 3 there for Suggs. They're going to try to deny the ball in bounds here. Barely got it in. Mitchell gets it ahead. Merrill is in as well for free throw shooting. And Anthony, that was a ridiculous call.
I think Mitchell was losing his balance and just kind of ran into Cole Anthony and fell over.
Yeah, that was a complete bullshit flop. That's probably the first one that I've been annoyed at.
A massive game for Donovan Mitchell and a potential elimination. 38 points, 11 of 26 from the field. And then these, I believe, will be his 15th and 16th free throws of this contest. He's had 16. Banchero's had 18. And most of those, these ones being accepted, most of those have been earned.
And when we talked about this series, we said Donovan Mitchell is clearly the best player in this series. And that was why I thought he could at least get right enough physically to make that happen. And that's ended up being the case. And that's the biggest reason that you can point to for why Cleveland is going to win this. And the other reason you could point to is the Magic offense was absolutely fucking atrocious in the second half.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Banchero. He's going to get stripped, tries to go behind his back to Anthony, and Anthony's going to get some free throws here. That's a good question, actually. It's been a while. When's the last time we had a 7-game series with the home team winning every game?
There was one a couple of years ago where it went to the last. Was that in 21 where it went to the last one and then the road team won that one?
No, there was this. It was when the Mavs Clippers series, the road team won every game up until Game 7. That's a good question, actually.
Dan will look it up at some point.
I mean, I could look it up. Someone has written about this.
Yeah, let's see. Last series where it happened was Boston, Milwaukee in 2018.
Yeah, there we go. And now we're going to get a timeout. I can't believe this game is like tenuously close enough that we're still here. If the Cavs score on this possession or make 2 free throws, I think that'll be a 12-point game with 1:42 left.
Well, yeah, I mean, Taylor Jenkins still has timeouts to call, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so back when the Celtics used to actually win playoff home games, that their first round series against the Bucks in 2018, and then also their series in the second round against the Wizards in 2017.
How many non-free throw points have the Magic scored in the second half? I could be able to do that. Just give me a second. So they were 18 of 43 from the field in the first half. They are now 27 of 81. So they've made nine. So 7 twos, that's 14, and 2 threes. So they've made 20 points on field goals in this half. That's not great. It's not what you want.
Yeah, this has been just atrocious jump shooting by the Magic. But I mean, you look at their roster and it's like, why is that? Like, I don't think anyone is surprised that they've had moments in this series where they've been so pathetic.
Great note from Dan Feldman. The last 4 series where the home team won all 7 games were all not only series involving the Celtics, but series that the Celtics won.
All right, I think we could turn this off here. They just threw it away again. So we will catch you guys. I guess we don't know our schedule for the rest of the week, do we? I mean, we got to do Denver, Minnesota game 2, right?
I agree.
That's tomorrow, yeah. And maybe we'll do the end of game 1 of Knicks Pacers. It was close to. So that'll be our next one here. Cleveland's going to put this away. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to y'all tomorrow.